Hey y'all, it's Scarlet Gun. I hope you're all doing well. Today I wanted to talk about the process of making my Artfight attack. I've been on Artfight for years. I started on Artfight in 2017. I've been playing just about every year since, even if some years I couldn't really do that many attacks, only like 1 to 3. So this year I was kind of really feeling inspired to get back into it, and I've been really into Dragon Ball, which I feel like is kind of just based on people's kind of opinion of Dragon Ball, of it being like very shonen man slop. It's kind of funny. I absolutely love Dragon Ball. It's been one of my favorite things since about 2021, I believe. It's just never kind of gotten out of my head. So I was feeling super inspired, and there's a lot of really cool artists that I've come across in the last year online that have really inspired me to kind of keep coming up with ideas in this interest with my own little characters. So what I wanted to do is a mass attack, which on Artfight is an attack of several of people's characters all in one art piece. And what I wanted to do is a menu on the theme of FIGHTERZ. Dragon Ball FIGHTERZ, the video game. I love this game. I'm absolute garbage at it. I just cannot get enough of it though. It's so much fun. So I had a really fun idea to remake the entire character select UI and menu on my own, and then fill it with other people's characters. So that ended up being a very large project. I thought it was going to take me maybe 2 weeks. It ended up taking me until just about the very end of Artfight. I only have 1 day left, and I just finished it today, so pretty stressful. So let's get right into the process.
Get ready for battle!
So starting off with the UI, this was the first step in the process that I did. This took me about 2.5 hours to fully design. It actually really wasn't all that bad because all of the character frames were exactly the same shape, just mirrored. So this really wasn't too hard at all. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I think that the hardest thing was just making sure that it was accurate color-wise to the layout. There's a lot of gradients kind of happening. I didn't want to get it exact because I didn't want to get it confused with the real game's layout. I still wanted it to look I guess a bit more homemade, like I had made it. The buttons was a fun little detail that I hand drew. Next were the headshots. This was the most time-consuming process. The info for the canvas file here said that this took about 10.5 hours. This was definitely the most time-consuming part of the whole process. It was pretty daunting. On the menu, there's 45 characters pictured, I believe, and then 51 total, combined with the full bodies of the characters at the top that have actually been selected. So this was a pretty time-consuming part of it, was drawing all of the characters. The menu was kind of nothing in comparison to the characters, even though that was initially the kind of boring part. So here were, first of all, mostly people that I knew, and then some people who had already attacked me on Artfight, so these were kind of revenges back on them. That was the kind of hard part of Artfight, was picking the characters that I wanted to do, because there were some where it was characters I really liked, but I really wanted to prioritize people who had already drawn me something first. I tried to make sure everyone who did had Dragon Ball characters, and if they didn't, unfortunately I just didn't have time to give revenges to everybody if they didn't have a Dragon Ball character. That was kind of sad. Ugh. And that's the hard thing about Artfight, is it's just hard to give something back to everybody. I really tried to, I mean, I drew like 45 characters here, so I really tried my best to pay it forward. So that was the first batch done. Now I'm on the second batch of characters. In this one and the last batch, the character that I'll be drawing with like white spiky hair and like sparkly yellow earrings, he's got like a green skin tone, that is Zamito, that's my friend's OC. And in the batch before was actually this character's sister, Maggie. They're a really cute pair. I like those two characters a lot. I'm a big Kyo enjoyer, if you will. here I started working on the half bodies a little bit of two characters that kind of caught my eye that I just kind of wanted to draw fully. I tried to have some diversity in the characters that I had at the top for the character select. My personal like bias, probably I would have just picked all girls. That's just what I like to draw. So I wanted to do some variation. So I have like a couple Saiyan characters or Saiyan-ish characters. And, one of them is a half Saiyan, and this character here on the left with the red hair, she's a full Saiyan. And then this character on the right was a Kai. And later I drew a character, I'm not actually sure if they were a Frieza race character or an Isogen character, but it was a really, really cool design. I drew, oh my gosh, I actually can't remember. One that he had kind of a Saiyan vibe, but he didn't have a tail, so I'm not sure. I'll double check. And then also I drew a like God of Destruction character that was really cool. He had these kind of ram horns. It was a really cool vibe. So I wanted to include that little guy. I tried to just do them kind of based on what I felt like I could draw multiple times and not get too tired out, you know? So a couple were a little more detailed, but I think it kind of worked out in the end because I was pretty happy with who I picked. I thought that they were really, really cool designs. Hard thing that I kind of wanted to do with this, I would have really liked to have the art style be inspired more so by FIGHTERZ. I kind of had a touch of that because FIGHTERZ has a very, very distinct and really, really cool art style. But if I did fully lean into that, it would have been so much work. And it also wouldn't have felt natural to my art style. And that's kind of the fun thing with Artfight is you're getting something by someone else. So you kind of want it to feel like they made it and not that it's fully trying to capture the feel of another style or another vibe. So I tried to just let it kind of come naturally. I did look at the artwork that this was inspired by and take some pointers from how they did the shading, how kind of heavy it was, stuff like that, but I just kind of ended up doing my own thing, basically. I didn't listen too much to that. There were a lot of characters here I really liked. I'm actually really sad because it wasn't until at the very end that this character with the gray hair and like the eye patch over the hair, I just slipped my mind and I did not include that character in the final file. I don't know what happened. What I kind of was doing in this process, which you can't really see it in this canvas, but every time I draw a headshot, I would immediately transfer it into the final file just so I wouldn't forget them. And I just didn't do it with that character, so they just got left out. So I ended up drawing another headshot to kind of make up for that one. One issue I was coming across with the full bodies, which I didn't realize until this character with the red, is with the red and black and white. And this is a character where I wasn't too sure if they were a Frieza race character. There wasn't a lot of info about them, just that they were like a prisoner before. And they seemed really, really cool. But all of the like arms and waist basically get cut off in the final piece, even though I did draw all of them. That was kind of sad, which I should have thought about that beforehand, but I didn't want it to look too messy in the back, so I just drew all of the kind of half body of these characters, and then a lot of them just were not visible at all. That was kind of a shame, but you know, it'd be like that, it'd be like that. The last two characters on this were revenges for my man's characters. They did this really, really cool art piece of his character Kabuto, so I really wanted to draw something cool to thank them for that. But what is kind of funny is, I don't know about you guys, I feel like maybe this is just me because I have like artist brain and not technical skill brain, but I am absolute garbage at FIGHTERZ. It is so sad because I get into big phases of watching YouTubers play, especially like the Three Idiots and the Shenanigans. Oh, I love their videos so much, but I'll get so hyped up and like, oh man, I'm ready to play and I want to play like them, and then I am just absolute garbage. And my favorite character is Videl, and anyone who knows about FIGHTERZ is like, she's kind of an odd character to play as, but I really like the way that she plays. She has a couple moves where I feel like they just feel very strange compared to the other characters, so it's kind of a fun way to throw people off. But that still doesn't really cover up the fact that I'm not good. So I liked the raid bosses a lot, but I never got very far in those. They seem like really a lot of fun, but I mean the people that I watch can't even tend to beat them. So I guess I cut myself a little slack there. So here were the full bodies, and although they're full bodies, they also kind of get cut off in the final piece because of all of the headshot frames. These were all of the characters that the players had selected. It ended up working out really well because the left side is all red characters and the right side, they don't really match color palettes, but I feel like they do kind of have a similar type of vibe. So it kind of felt cool that it ended up looking a bit like two people who kind of have their own teams that they pick. Like one kind of picks based on like the vibe of the characters, and then one does more so based on like their gameplay. Because the three on the right, they're not super similar or anything, but I just imagine in my head that they have like a similar fighting style. I don't know these people super well in their OCs or anything like that. I picked the main ones kind of more based off people that I didn't know, just for the challenge, and I also I didn't want people to be a little too spoiled, you know. No, I don't care, but I just wanted to pick some new people who I hadn't drawn stuff before, because I just tend to draw people's characters kind of not super often, but you know, when I can, I like sketching other people's stuff, so just kind of fun. So I want to do, you know, a little more experimentation with that. So here is the final file, and this is where I was really adding in everyone's characters to get the final result. It was so cool putting in all of these one at a time. This was definitely the most exciting part. I kept sending like updates to my husband just over and over and over. Like I'd draw like 3 more headshots and I was like, look. It was like nothing special, you know. I'm really happy with how this came out. It was nice to have a big project for Artfight, and I only just posted it a couple hours ago before I started editing this video, so it's kind of cool seeing all of the like reactions rolling in. That was really what I was hoping for with this, is like getting something of your character that really fits what they go into, but it still kind of has that personal touch that I made it. Yeah, I just really had a lot of fun with this process. It definitely kind of burned me out. I was just having a busy weekend coming up, and it was kind of stressing me out a bit, but I'm really glad that I pushed through it. I've tended to, in the past, cut myself a lot of slack, and if I'm struggling with something, I'm like, well, I guess it's just time to give up, you know, I did what I could. So I think this year, in general, I would say that I'm tending to push past that quite a bit, and I feel like the results of that have been pretty cool. To anyone who wants to do cool projects, you should do them, even if they're tiring. It's really cool to get something done, and even just right as I finished this and posted it and everything, I was like, I think I'm gonna make this into a video for real, because I'm just in that mood where it's like, I did one thing, I gotta make another. So that's kind of the cool thing about being able to draw and having little characters and liking other people's characters, and just why Artfight is, I think, a lot of fun.
The outcome of this fight is anybody's guess!
The total points for this art piece was 1,909.75. So that felt pretty good. I have fallen so far behind on Artfight the last couple years, and that felt really, really cool to really put something big out. I've never done that before. I've always just kind of, not kept it small, I would say, but this is, I think, the first year where I even drew more than one character in an art piece, so that was pretty big for me. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Anyway, thanks for joining me on this little process. I hope you guys had fun with Artfight this year, or just having fun with really anything this year. Art, you know, games, whatever. It's just fun to be a little silly and work on something kind of goofy and fun, and you know, make some people happy a little bit. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching. Love you. Mwah.